What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's up, people? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? It is a Wednesday, all day, all day, all day. It is a Wednesday, and I'm happy, as y'all can see, that I got Miss Winnie with me on today. Got her here hanging
Hello.
out with me, which again I always appreciate it when I can get her on. She hit me
I
up.
love being
Come on,
here.
talking about asking me if she can come on. If she can come on, right, right.
Well, I'm polite.
Thank you, thank you very
I
much. I
miss
just want to make
polite.
sure, wanted to make sure we was on the same page here. Well, Winnie, I just got just to let you know, just to let you know, because everybody else knows. Um, people have said that I hate white people. I didn't tell you that part, did I?
No.
Oh yeah. So some yeah. So I hate I just want you to know that before you really start hanging out with me, I don't
are,
like.
are we going to be closeted friends? You can't be seen with me in public. Oh, who told you you don't like white people?
Yeah. That's what they say on Twitter. They actually say that on Twitter. That
Uh,
I don't yeah because I talk about racist people, and they figure if the only way they can shut me up from talking about racist people is to say
mhm.
I don't like white people because I talk about racism. But here's the thing, Winnie. I only talk
Mhm.
about racism is when they give me a reason to talk about it. That's the
Well,
only time
right.
you ever. If you give me a reason to talk about it, just like I'm going to talk about Andover, Minnesota, here
Yep.
real quick, really quick. But before I run off at the mouth, sorry, because there's some people who probably just jumped in and don't even know who you are. They're sitting
Oh,
there going,
okay.
"Well, wait a minute. Rev hate white people, and here he is talking to this white lady." So, white lady, I'm gonna give you the opportunity. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to tell these people who you are. So I'm gonna shut my mouth. The floor is all yours.
All right. Well, my name is Winnie Schrader. I've been born and raised in Minnesota. I love broadcasting and stuff. I used to be on the Tom Bernard Show, his podcast with the family. I booked guests for them many years. I was on Air Talent. I was just on a show yesterday. It's so much fun to revisit with them because things have changed with their podcast so much. But I also do my own podcast. I do a true crime podcast called Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot. You can find me at mysteriesmayhemandmerlot.net. Um, but that's my passion. But my passion also is, I have a passion for politics because politics plays more in our day to day lives than just passing laws and telling us what to do. Right now we're all feeling the crunch of what's happening federal, federally on down, with all these job cuts and everything else. So it does play a huge part. And there's a lot of crime in politics. Yeah,
Oh, well,
but
who?
you know, it's just one of those things. But it like for you there is no reason why anyone should tell you that you don't like white people. You are the most colorblind person I know, unless they're being a racist.
If you've been exactly.
Yeah, but you're calling them out on their BS, and hey, don't give me a reason to call you. If you're gonna call me a race, don't give me a reason to call you out on your BS. I mean, it's and people they just social media is just vile. It's destroyed society as we know it today. Um, and I've just started ignoring the noise. Ignore the noise, but I understand you want to get your point out because you feel, and I can't say from a black person's perspective, but do you feel as a black person when you're counteracting with somebody on social media, do you feel like you are representing Black men or Black people when you're doing that? I mean, is that why it's so passionate for you?
Well, it's passionate for me because I want us all to get along.
Yeah.
There's no reason. There's no reason for you to hate me because of my color of my skin. There is no reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my basis when it comes to when I see racist things. I mean, if you're calling Black people's monkeys and porch monkey and you do all this, I've got to call you out on what you say. And
Right.
and you're going to get upset with that, and then you're going to come back at me to shut me up and then swear up and down that I don't like. I mean, I'm sitting there going, I have to hate my stepfather. My stepfather, who has been married to my mother for 43 years. I have to hate him. He's white. He is as white as you are. He's straight out of Boise, Idaho. I have to hate. Right? Yeah. Yeah. He's white. Trust me. He is as white as can be. He and my mom has been married for 43 years. I've got to hate him.
Great.
You understand what I'm saying? But here's my thing. If you give me a reason to talk about racism, I am going to put it in the dirt. Period, point blank. And what I've learned is a lot of people don't like when I talk about racism. But if you do it, you give it to me, oh, I'm running with it. I am running with it. I to the point where I've pissed people off. I've had people in my DMs calling me everything but the child of God. But when it's all said and done, I have no reason to hate you, Winnie, because of the color of your skin. Just like you have no reason to hate me for the color of my skin. It's 2025. When are we going to be done with this crap?
I wish there was. I honestly, this should have been done over 50 years ago. But I mean, and I get called a racist, and I was like, where do you get, how am I a racist? Well, you're white. Last time I checked, I didn't know the color of my skin caused me to think in an ideology a certain way. I just, I'm like, there is no racist code in my body. I treat everybody equally, and if you treat me other than that, like if you're going to be an a-hole, well, then I'm going to treat you like one back. But I just treat everyone the same unless you give me a reason not to.
Exactly. And I say the same thing. See, and what a lot of people do is, because I put that REV in front of my name, they think that they can say things to me that I can't say back to them. What they don't realize is before me and God got together the way that we are, I wasn't that person that's just going to turn the other cheek. And there's time. I'll give you as much rope as you expect I should. But once you hit the end of that rope, then we're on the same playing field. Because what you say to me, I'm going to say it right back to you. And a lot of people, and that shocks a lot of people, because they go, well, wait a second. You're a reverend. You're a man of God. You're not supposed to talk to me like that. Oh, I can talk to you like that. But you can't talk to me. You're not allowed to say what I can say to you. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
and it's funny to me that what you just said there a few seconds ago, because I was talking to another friend of mine, which is white, who said the same thing. He said, I get into these conversations, and the first thing people want to do if I say something wrong is they want to call me racist. Because of the color of my skin. When are we done with this crap? I mean, I'm being totally serious. Going, look, I've got my grandson, my little Aiden, my oldest grandson, looks exactly like his mother in the summer, in the wintertime.
Oh.
So you would not know. you would not have a clue that this kid is he's white, black, and Puerto Rican. In the
Okay.
summertime, you can tell that he's a little black kid. But in wintertime, he looks as white as day. So when his father, my son, goes to pick him up at school, all the kids are shocked. Because they're looking at they're looking at my son, and then they're looking at him going, wait a second, something's not adding up here. Because in the wintertime, he looks like you, Winnie. He looks just like his mom. But in the summertime, he looks like Pawpaw. So, yeah.
I don't tan at all. I'm Scots Irish. All I do is burn, and then I peel, and then I'm even whiter. So it doesn't work for me. That's why I'm so pasty. I'm like this all year round.
Yeah.
And you know what's really cute? I really love about kids, especially when they're real young like that. My son, when he started preschool, he had a couple of black kids in his class, and they were talking about, I think they were like coloring people and stuff or things in the class. And my son, who is autistic, at the time, he just could not comprehend why we call African Americans black people. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, they're not black, they're brown, Mom. And I said, well, I understand that. But it's trying to explain it to an autistic 4-year-old. It's not easy. But I love the naive that children have, that they're not jaded by the world. They're just like, oh, well, they're brown. Okay, well, be my friend. They don't have that. And, you know, honestly, it obviously has to stem from the generational ways of, passing it down.
Yes.
Because like I said, kids are not born racist.
No.
They could talk to anybody. I mean, have you watched two-year-olds jibber jabber to each
Oh,
other?
yeah.
You have no idea what they're saying, but they know exactly what each others are saying. And they're like that. And they're like that when it comes to race too. But it's like, as they get older and get brought up in an environment, that's where all that ideology starts taking place and gets implanted in their way of life. That's where we kind of have to figure out, how is that being brought to kids at such a young age? Where is it coming from? I guess that would probably be the first step that I would look at to try and fix when it comes to systemic racism that we've been dealing with for eons.
I think it's going to take a couple of more generations for, for us to weed some of. It's never going to be weeded out of America. That's never going to happen. Racism is as American as apple pie and baseball. It just is, no ifs, ands, or buts. But I believe the first time I was called a nigger, E.E. Jeter School in Shelby County, Tennessee. We were on this. Back in the day, we had these big merry-go-rounds, right? So you have to get off and push. This little white boy said point blank, all the niggers get off and push. All the black kids start getting off the merry-go-round to push the merry-go-round. I had no clue, because we never said that word in growing up around in my household. So I didn't even know what it was. I had no clue what was going on. All the black kids start getting off the merry-go-round, and they push the merry-go-round. I get home, I tell my grandfather exactly what happened, and he looked at me and he said, well, he was talking about you. And I was like, oh, was I supposed to get off the merry-go-round, Papa, and push? And my grandfather said, don't you ever give that name any type of legitimate to be you, ever. We don't say that word. My son was on my show a while ago, and he tell you, we don't say that in this house. I don't use that word at all. It's not a term of endearment or anything that black people are trying to make it out to be. And it's pathetic that we have to take the worst word in the English language and want to use it on each other. Because anytime I hear another black man go, nigga, I'm going to shoot you, that's not a term of endearment to me at all.
No, no.
So we've taken a word that had been used against us for I don't know how long and tried to make it popular. And then we're going to turn around and tell people who can and who can't use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. But anyway, that
Yeah. And I think too with that word, it's also a generational thing. You know, well, millennials, but like generations after millennials, they don't know really the gravity of what that word really represents in a whole. I mean, because they've never had, I mean, they've grown up in a technological age. You know, we're talking kids born in the 2000s, and and it's so they use it everywhere so flippantly, just like it's just nothing. It's just like
yeah,
another word thrown out there. So I think now youth today, they just use it as like dude or bro, or that's a new one, bro.
bruh.
I can say that one all the time, but bro.
I yeah,
But I
I
think
say that
that
I say that all the time.
I know, I'm like, I'm not your bro. I'm your mom. But I feel like that's where that word has taken its place now. It's just this flippant word that people use, and they don't understand the gravity of the term and why that word came about. And honestly, thanks to my ancestors, I apologize. That word came from my ancestors. Not to say that it was intentional, but Irish people, when they tried to say Negro, it came out with their accent as the big N. So that's how that word came about. And
Yeah.
so it was kind of an accidental thing. It wasn't necessarily like off the shoot. It was supposed to be like a derogatory thing, but then it became that during as slavery went on, it just became this kind of derogatory thing. Irish people have one, Jewish people have one. I mean, like
Yeah,
every
but you don't
every
see
race religion has them.
you don't have Irish and Jewish people literally using the name that they deem you don't have that. But it's us who are
Mhm.
ignorant. I'm gonna put it plain and simple. I don't care who gets mad at me. It's us who are ignorant enough to
Yeah.
call each other the very name that is just so vile. It's we do
Yeah.
this. This is how stupid we are as black
Mhm.
people. That
Well,
we
if you want
literally we put it in rap music because I say I've always said this. If I bought a CD and that name, that word is in that CD, I own that word. I can say it whenever I want to. Period, point
mhm,
blank. If I was white. Period. Then don't put it, if you
mhm.
don't want me to say it, don't put it in the music. If you don't want me to say it, stop saying it out in public. Stop calling each other that. Stop using it as a bad word to another black man to want to shoot, kill, and harm another black man. Stop using the word completely.
Yeah, it's very cringy if you I like it when I hear it, no matter in what context I'm hearing it, it makes my skin crawl, like,
I know.
physically. I'm like, "Ugh, I don't like it."
I'm a black man, and it same thing with me. Because, like I said, I
Mhm,
didn't grow up with it. We never used it. It was never used in my home. It will never be used in my home at all.
mhm.
But anyway, like I said, um yeah, we haven't figured we haven't figured that out. But we got
Yeah.
more problems in our community to try to deal with than the N word. So I gotta just let that go because I'm more worried
Mhm.
about us killing and shooting each other than one of them calling each other nigga.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean, and just having these kind of open conversations about this is very important. That's how we're gonna learn and to fix things is to brainstorm, talk, don't argue. Be open-minded, listen to the other person's point of view, and then see how it can gel with your own point of view. I mean, there's people need to start communicating better, not on social media, by the way. I'm talking about have community community meetups, just discuss stuff. What's going on in your communities? What can we do to make our community better? Take it in your own hands. Don't wait for the government to do it, because
Yeah. Yeah.
how much time you got?
But I was gonna. Well, one of the things that we almost started to discuss at the beginning when you came on, because
Mhm.
look at that, we already went through 30 minutes, and it don't even seem like I had you long enough. But anyway,
I know.
um, homelessness
Mhm.
is one of the things that beginning to pop its head up again, especially in the Twin Cities. And
Mhm.
that people have been trying to figure out, okay, what do we do with the homeless community? Because it is community. No ifs, no
Mhm.
ands, no buts. And everything that the city has tried to do has failed for one reason or another. But we
Mhm.
do have people, homeless people, and I put them in a few categories. Okay, so you got the unhoused. That means the people who can't find a job, don't have a job, don't have anywhere to go, and lives out on the street.
Mhm.
Not the drug. Now, then you have the drug users, the ones who want to be on the street because they want to use drugs. They don't want to go to shelters. They don't want anybody's help. But they all come together in one little tight community. What do we
Mhm.
do with that community?
You know, it's so hard to do that, because I mean, even putting people in the categories, each individual person is like a case on its own. Because you have a lot of homeless people have mental health issues, drug issues. So I think, to help with some of this homeless issue, is to find the root of problem of why they're homeless in the first place. Are they homeless because they can't hold a job, because mentally they can't function in public, or they have social anxiety, they have PTSD. I mean, a lot of our veterans are homeless because of that. So try and figure out a way to find the root of the problem of why they're homeless, and build it. You're just going to have to build it from the foundation up for these people. People are just right now just keep throwing money at it. Oh, well, let's just put all these big portable bathrooms all over the place for these homeless people so they don't go potty on the street. Okay, well then you know exactly what's going to happen in those bathrooms. You're going to have every morning. You're probably going to find a homeless person dead of an overdose inside of there, possibly even burning them down because they're doing drugs and illicit stuff in there. I mean, that's known to happen as well. I mean, they're just putting Band-Aids on it, and they're not fixing the issue. And I feel if we can kind of really screen some of these homeless people, a lot of them probably have good skills and trades that they can learn, but they just don't have the opportunity to do them. So let's figure out an opportunity to give them that step up. I've even said some of these abandoned hotels, make it
Well,
some
we
type of, if they work there, they work there. They do service. They can make it to where it could be a laundry service place, and have them work there and learn some skills and build themselves up, instead of just, letting them sit out on the street. Maybe they get a warm meal and a bed for one night, but the next night they're right back out on the street.
we remember we tried the hotel in Bloomington, and they
Hmm.
during the pandemic. You hear about that
Yeah.
hotel? They ended up literally tearing up. I mean, they
Yeah.
tore that hotel up, right?
Well, yeah, but honestly, like with COVID, I mean, nobody was prepared for it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
know,
true, right?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked my house is still standing from COVID. We had 10 people in this house, and then a baby came along, so then we had
Oh.
11 people. So, I mean, yeah, we're lucky our house is still standing too, but yeah, like if they had like hotels or some of these abandoned places
Yep.
and refurbish them and redo them, then you can have some type of systematic placement where, there's security, there's some type of structure to the place as well. I mean, just throw a bunch of homeless people in a hotel. Oh yeah, and just you guys can't leave. You gals got to wear masks
Yep.
and just don't touch each other. Well, good luck.
Oh yeah. Good luck, right? Good luck. Good luck on that. So, but here's my thought. I mean,
Hmm.
I may be way off. I don't know. But you know, right off 35W and 10, you remember that old ammunition property that's over there?
Yeah.
All that land that's been sitting there for I don't know how long, we can take and put the homeless there.
Hmm.
Give them land. Because right now, basically, they are in neighborhoods. And they're and in those neighborhoods, there's needles, there's all types of stuff. They just need a place to go. So my mindset was, okay, we get them away from the community, and we put them right there in right off 35W and 10 at that
Hmm.
old ammunition place. There's a lot of land out there. Let's put them there. Open
Yeah.
that up. Put the homeless there. They can pitch their tents. They can do whatever they want to. We'll put bathrooms and whatever else over there for them to live and the whole 9 yards. My thought is if Minneapolis shouldn't be the only one spending money and having to take care of these people, because a
Hmm.
lot of these people are coming from Maple Grove. They're coming from Plymouth. They're coming from Woodbury. They're coming from Rochester. They're coming from Duluth. They're coming from all over.
Yeah.
And you don't see, because you couldn't pitch a tent in Maple Grove. You couldn't
No.
pitch a tent in Plymouth. You couldn't pitch a tent in St. Louis Park, right? You couldn't pitch a tent in Elk River, Otsego, St. Michael. You couldn't pitch a tent out there. So what do people do? They go to Minneapolis to get to use the resources there in Minneapolis. And then Minneapolis go, well, what are we going to do with you? So every time they pitch an encampment, then Mayor Fry send the police in to uproot them, and then they go somewhere else. And then they're on side of the streets, and then they're on the sidewalks. Right? My
Hmm.
my my mindset is that. I mean, we've got land that we can put these people on. And they can have here's the deal. If you want to be out there, this is where you got to be. If you
Hmm.
don't, then we need to open up a few of these hospitals, these mental health places, and get some of these people in those. We got to open those up. The worst thing Ronald Reagan did as president is close down these hospitals, because
Yep.
we have been in trouble ever since he's done that. That was one
Hmm.
of the other than sending crack cocaine to the black community. That was another one of the Republican failed policies that, as we can see today, has hurt us in the long run. But we have to get these hospitals open.
Yeah. Yeah, and same way, even for our veterans. I mean, come on, can't we at least house our veterans for God's sakes? I mean, they fought for our country, they sacrificed time, their lives. That's one thing I always say about time. Time is the one thing you can give to somebody and never get back. And to know that these people had dedicated their time and effort to serve our country and to protect our rights, and this is how they're treated when they come home. That's BS. BS. So it's like there are resources that we can use to help the homeless people. It's just the problem is it's all in the government's hands, and we have no control of how it's done, when it's done, and I mean, I'm to the point where let's start reaching out to Target corporations and Best Buy and say, hey, you want to sponsor this homeless shelter? It's going to be a tax write-off for you. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Let's think outside the box. Let's not depend on the government to do it and wait for them to get it done because, yeah, you'd still be waiting probably about another 30 years and it still won't be completed.
That's true. That's true. But we've got to do something. Just like you said, I've met some vets. I mean, I've raised money to get a few vets wheelchairs. But I've met a couple vets who are in the same situation that we've been talking about. They want to stay out on the streets. They don't want to be one of the things that I've learned from talking to a lot of the homeless people is they don't want to be up under the government's thumb, right? Mm-hmm. They're not asking the government for much, but they realize that if they go to these shelters, they got to do exactly what the government tells them to do. They got to be the people that the government tells them to be and do this and all this here. And just like anybody, like the J6ers. The J6ers was fighting. Why? Because they was fighting the government. Everybody fights the government. And even homeless people fight the government. And they don't want the government doing or telling them what to do. And that's why a lot of them won't go to these shelters. Yeah. And they would rather be out on the streets than being up in one of these government-ran shelters that's making them do things that they just don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's like, okay, but that doesn't help. We still have the issues. So I just really feel like we need to just have to come together as communities and have town hall meetings. I mean, you guys don't even need the city council there. Just have community meetings and just like say, hey, what can we do to make our community better? Has anybody got ideas? Throw them in a hat. Let's
Throw them in a
go.
hat.
I mean, something. I mean, all they do, from federally on down, all they do is complain about the problem. They fight about the problem, but nobody comes up with solutions. Where's the solutions? I mean, we never have them on the news. That's all you hear is about the problem, and nothing's ever solved. It's just this ongoing issue year after year. It's the same BS year after year. I don't know what else we could do otherwise, like I said, think outside the box. We can't continue going the route we're going. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And we need to change our tactics here, I think. So
I think so too, because like you said, what we're doing right now with the homeless is just not working. It isn't. Mm-hmm. And what I want to do is I want to give those who want help. See, here's another thing that a lot of people who never goes to the homeless camps, a lot of people who don't deal with homeless people, a lot of people who don't talk to homeless people don't realize is this. So, Winnie, you're going to be the homeless person. I'm going to be the social worker. So I'm going to come to you, Winnie, and I'm going to say that I've got a bed for you, but I've got to go and get things ready, right? So now, Winnie, you say, okay, I want a bed. When can I get that bed? So me as a social worker would say, well, I don't know. I'll go find out. So now I go to find out, and Winnie, all of a sudden, Mayor Fry decides he's going to attack your homeless shelter, your homeless camp, right? Displace you. So me, as a social worker, now I've got to go hunt you down. I've got to go to every homeless camp around to try to find you. Well, a month or 2 months later, I finally find you. And I say, hey, I've got a place for you. Do you want it? And you go, yeah, I'll take that place. And then I have to go, well, I'm going to go get everything ready, set up for you. So I take off. to go get things ready, set up for you. Mayor Fry raids your camp again. So therefore, as a social worker, I've got to spend another month looking for you. So while I'm spending that month looking for you, that room that I had ready for you right then is gone now because somebody else got it. So now I've got to start over. See, and that's what a lot of people who don't deal with the homeless people, they don't understand that. These social workers are not miracle workers. They are not putting people in rooms like that day. Like I meet you on a Friday, and then Friday afternoon, I've got a room for you. It does not work like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't
I know.
understand that.
I know, and that's why I said it's just like that's why I think we should privately start trying to find ways for companies to sponsor, places where they can sponsor a homeless shelter. That way, there are bed. You don't have to sit here and go do this back and forth waiting for a bed. And another thing is, if you notice, like a lot of rehabs, a lot of people who are rehabilitated from drugs and alcohol, they themselves become directors at a facility. So that's something, a trade that you could teach some of these homeless people to say, hey, you know what it's like to be in their shoes, and they may have the smarts and stuff, but like they may have some mental health issues that are undiagnosed and unaddressed. So getting them on right medications and they could be actual functional people in society, and then they could start working and running their own shelters and still giving back to the community while using their skill sets and knowing what it's like to be homeless and what these homeless people have to go through so he can empathize or she can empathize with them. So I feel like, those are the kind of things I wish people would discuss and start brainstorming because I feel like this could have been done eons ago.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
it's 2025. This should have happened, 50 years ago,
Yeah.
after Vietnam, getting these vets home. They were so messed up from Vietnam, so messed up. And it just, oh, it was bad.
But because they don't know what to, and still today, I mean, we really don't know what to do with these people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if we had places where, like I said, we can get social workers to walk out on Friday, deal with them, get things done, and then by Friday afternoon, they're in a room, a lot of these
Right.
people will go. But
Mhm.
they're not going to go if they got to wait 2-3 months being displaced, then wait another month. That's not how this thing, and that's what a lot of people don't know, that don't put time in trying to understand. So that's why I said all of that land that's over there on 35W and 10, all of that land, let's clean it. Let's clean it. Let's put them over there. If you want to stay out in these elements, go for it. I'm not going to bother you. But if you want a place to live, let's get them a place to live. If you want doctors' help, let's get them doctors' help. Let's get them into these mental facilities to get them some type of help and see if we can't make good citizens out of these people. That's what we do.
Right.
But we have to get them out of neighborhoods, and we have to get them out of the city. That I know, no ifs, ands, or buts. No
Right.
ifs, ands, or buts. So,
yeah, especially if there's drugs or anything like that involved. I mean, yeah, you want to make sure these people are, if they're going to go in the right direction, you want to make sure they're stepping on the right foot first. So,
right?
yeah, but yeah, I know it's so sad. It's so sad. And I could imagine being homeless, especially living in Minnesota. Winter
Right.
is not our friend at all. And just to know how discouraging. You sit there, you go, you sit down, you wait, you get your appointment, you go see somebody. Yeah, we'll get you a room. May take a couple days. You wait, you lose it. I mean, just that frustration. It's like, why bother?
Right.
You know, it's just, trust me. I mean, I hate going to the DMV. It's like, I have to go to the DMV. But I can't imagine for homeless people having to, how frustrating that would be, having to go appointment after appointment, trying to get a place and just getting lost in the shuffle. How frustrating.
No, and it happens all the time, and people, and and the people who don't go to the homeless camps, who have zero compassion for these people, they're the first ones. Oh, just kick them out. Just do this with them. Just do that with them. Let's do this here with them. And that's why I always look at people and go, see, you don't read the same Bible that I read. You don't believe in the same God that I believe in, because that's not what he tells us to do. But
right.
The Democrats have tried to solve this problem where in Hennepin County, where the Republicans, they just wash their hands of it. And half of the people who are in those homeless camps come out of Republican districts, right? But yet, the Republican Party has this serious problem when it comes to Hennepin County. They cannot win in Hennepin County. I mean, if you got a R behind your name, your chances of winning in Hennepin County is probably as good as my dog driving my car. My dog will drive my car. He would get in the car. He would go to the store, pick up me some Sprite, and then come back before a Republican win in Hennepin County. It's just the blue wall. And I was trying to figure out today, Winnie, when did this start? Because it seemed like 1968. It's pretty, because you were saying about your dad. When did your dad run?
My dad, he ran for both House and Senate, Minnesota level, not federally.
Right.
State level. Now, real quick though, before I forget, what's weird though is federally, some of those districts went Republican when it came to U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress congressional candidates. There were at times like Senator Rod Grahams and things like that. And there was another, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I believe that was technically like state level, it's Democratic, but for some reason federally, it went Republican at times in some elections. But yeah, when my dad ran, he ran in, let's see, my son was 2, so around 2005, 5-ish, and 2007-ish, he ran for state house, and then he also ran for congressional house, state house. And he was in the district in Hennepin County, Bloomington, parts, I think it was Richfield and parts of South Minneapolis. And he couldn't pull them off on either side, both Senate and House. Nobody could get elected that had an R behind their name in those districts at all. And it's very frustrating because you have a lot of people with good ideas, but it's like the same old people just kept getting put back in those seats. And it just constantly, like you said, you had the blue curtain around Hennepin County, where locally and state level, it would always, always be Democratic. And it's bizarre how it's like that. But I'm assuming it's because you have so many different cultures living in such a small area. I mean, Hennepin County is not super small, but you have a lot of different cultures living in one area. So that could very well be why. I, I'm not sure.
Well, one of the reasons I can tell you, and the reason I wanted to have this conversation was, so I went around to 5 black churches this Sunday to announce that I was on a ticket to run for lieutenant governor, and telling them that I need their votes. I really need them to get on board with me. And because without the black church in Hennepin County, I don't have a shot. Yeah. And out of the 5, 3 basically said, if you're running under a Republican ticket, they will not vote for me. will not do it because the Democrats have painted the Republicans as racist to
Mhm.
the point where it is embedded. It's literally embedded into Hennepin County that these guys are racist, and
Mhm.
it's not as if the Republican Party hasn't done anything to come into Hennepin County and go, no, we're not. We're not racist,
Yeah.
right? It's not like they've done anything at the Capitol to say, you know what, let us do something that's gonna help, help people in Hennepin County. You haven't seen them
Mhm.
do anything like that at all. So
Yeah.
when the Democrats go to black churches and go, well, we're better than those racist Republicans, it's going to stick because the Republican Party literally fought a hair bill for black women. Think about that for a second. A hair bill for black women. Why would you? That should have been a no-brainer. A no-brainer.
Right.
Because, why would you fight a hair bill for black women? You wouldn't. You shouldn't. But they did. They made noise on it. And
Yeah.
just that alone pushed that racism button many times over.
Yeah. And well, you mentioned when we were talking about your upcoming show, Barry Goldwater was brought up, and Barry Goldwater when he ran against LBJ, he lost big time. But I think that's where the Republican Party started shifting. Because and I think it was shifting towards that corporate elite Republican that we all know today. The quintessential white business guy is a Republican, and I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. Now, Barry Goldwater, he actually personally he did not oppose segregation. I mean, but his thing is the reason why he didn't want this. He was against the civil rights bill was because he believed that states and local government should be able to govern their own areas and their own constituents. Technically, and I've always said this, and this is why the federal government doesn't work. If you really want to look at the structure of the Constitution of the United States, technically, like local government should have more power than the federal government. If the
Right.
local governments are not doing what they're supposed to be doing and not, if they're infringing on the rights of their citizenship, then that's when, county governments can get involved or state governments. And if the state is impeding any rights on any of its citizens, that's when the federal government comes into play. And that's why the federal government got involved in the Civil War to begin. Well, the North got involved because even though it was a states' right issue to have slavery or not slavery, that would gave the in for the federal government to go in to saying that they were infringing on the rights of the citizens of those territories or states, however they see fit at that time. But I think that's when he said that, that's kind of like, hey, I know you're not opposed to segregation, but you're not doing anything to make sure that segregation it doesn't happen again. You know what I mean? Because he wanted
Right.
to leave it to local government. And that kind of, and that's who influenced Ronald Reagan. It influenced George W. Bush. He was a huge influence on those two political figures that we had as presidents. But yeah, it's weird because like I don't I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm socially liberal. I'm very libertarian. I don't believe in like huge government and they should rule, but I feel like, people I feel liberally people have should have social rights. Like I could care less, you know, who I honestly don't think government should acknowledge have anything to do with marriage. I don't think government should have anything to do with health care. And all those things. And I think that's when laws were placed, it was just grabbing those tentacles of government further and further into our social fabric. And I think when we had that split off that's when the Republicans were deemed racist and the Democrats were deemed, the saviors of the black race, I guess. But when you really look at it, when government tells you that you can't do anything because you're black and they will take care of you because you're poor and you're black, that is the most racist crap I have ever heard in my entire
Right.
life. Tell somebody to say, "Oh, you're black, you're uneducated. Oh, let us take care of you." No, you educate that person and you give them the shot that everybody else has and deserves. So it's like, people, they're not seeing it for what it is. They're not reading between the lines, and I feel like having these conversations are going to shed lights on that. And it's very frustrating for me as a person that really loves this country and loves the fabric that this country is. I mean, give us our tired, you're hungry, you're poor, and like each culture has paved its way and made America what it is today. And to take any of that away is taking what this country is about. So we just need to learn how to acknowledge the good and let's get rid of the bad stuff, huh?
That I totally agree with everything that you just said. And you bring up Barry Goldwater. I studied him like you would not believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad that the party that fought to end slavery, the party that basically started on the backs of black people, is the party that today we see as the party that would have been riding with the Klan back in the day. It's sad that has happened. Only thing the Republicans had to do was stick to their core value when it came to black people, right?
Right.
If we're coming out of a situation of slavery and we have nothing, then why not help your brothers up? Why not do what the Bible tells you to do? But Barry Goldwater was one of those Bull Connor type situations when he got in the South. Now, when he was in California, when he was in Minnesota, when he was in New York, he spoke that type language like they do here in Minnesota. When we sit here and go, Minnesota nice, but yet it's hidden racism here in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
It is. That was Barry Goldwater's thing. I'm going to hide why I'm up here, but the minute I go down south, I'm going to say those things that I don't want them Negroes in school with us. I don't want those Negroes on buses with us. I don't want those Negroes in the bathroom with us. Barry Goldwater was that guy. And when Barry Goldwater decided to go up, I'm not going over here because they want to help these black people. I'm going to stay over here and call myself a Republican. That's when everything for the Republican Party with black people. Now, my grandfather died a Republican. He never made the switch, even though he was in Memphis, Tennessee, fighting the garbage strike. I got two uncles right now that consider themselves to be not conservative, because I'm a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I consider conservative and Republicans to be two total different things. People always ask me, well, what are you, Rev? I'm a Colin Powell. I'm a Colin Powell conservative. Pretty much what I am. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a MAGA. I thought I was almost that close for being in the Tea Party. If they hadn't been racist, I would. That's the reason why I left the Tea Party, because they got racist. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. That's sad. So we go into Hennepin County and look around, and you look at the map on where Donald Trump lost. It was Hennepin County, Rochester, and Duluth, pretty much. Those are the three biggest counties in Minnesota. Yep. The rest of Minnesota was as red as could be. Yeah, but three places, beat everybody else out.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump did not win in those 3 places. And those 3 places are the blue wall for the Republican Party here in Minnesota. They cannot win statewide without winning in Duluth, Hennepin County, and Rochester. They just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got to figure out, how do they go into Hennepin County? Like if your dad was to run today, your dad would have to go, okay, enough's enough. I've got to go into Hennepin County, or I've got to find a way to go into Hennepin County and convince these people that we're not the racists that the Democrats have pled us out to be. I've got to say that we're not the racists that we've shown ourselves to be when it comes to police, when it comes to schooling, when it comes to being fair to everybody, that we're not those racists of Minnesota. How do they do that?
Well, I know how we can solve it, which will probably never happen, is to eliminate political parties.
I like that.
We need to start, and I want to encourage your listeners, don't look at whether they have a D or an R behind their name. That's just, all that is like a NASCAR patch. That's all it is. It's a NASCAR patch. Listen to the candidate and what they're saying. Listen to the opposing side for that candidate. Don't just take it because they have an R or a D behind their name on the ballot. Because we have to eliminate political parties and start voting on people on what their merits are, what their record is, if they've held public service, or even if they were in the private sector. I think if we're voting them into office, we should have a right to look at their career, as if they're in a company, CEO, how do they manage money, things like that. I mean, we have to vet these candidates, but eliminate the party lines, so you don't have to tow the whole party garbage along with what you are trying to say. Because if you have a specific message, all people are going to hear is what every other Republican candidate is touting on a national level. All the blurbs you see Donald Trump spouting off, Elon Musk, everybody's going to tie that to your R behind your name. So I think that would be a way to really eliminate this issue that we have, not getting the right candidates in place. And it sucks that we have to have a party in order to get acknowledgement and seem legit as a candidate. It's stupid. I think even with lobbyists, these politicians, they need to look like they're a freaking NASCAR. We need to know who's giving them money and for what reasons. I want to see, like with Enron, I want to see politicians with that Enron patch on, or any type of corporation, big oil, big pharma, because those are the ones that are pulling the strings from the ground up. It's all the lobbyists and corporations. So if we can eliminate political parties, I think we could start really honing it down what the candidate is actually about, what they would like to do as a candidate and a politician for their constituents, and go from there.
And exactly what you just said is what I've been saying for I don't know how long. I mean, I get people on here to get mad at me because, I was just on a show. Was it yesterday? Yeah. I was just on a show yesterday. The Truth Hurts. You know who they are? It's called.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's called The Truth. They're Action for All Action for Liberty or something like that. They carry water for those for them, but they are Republicans. They carry water for Republicans. I'm sitting in the studio. Dude's got a MAGA hat on. He's just proud of himself as all get up in the whole nine. And I basically brought bottom line because they was asking me, oh, well, you don't believe in Trump's policies and you don't believe. Nope. Just like I didn't believe in Biden's either. You didn't hear me pushing water for Biden. I don't push water for Trump. I don't push water for Democrats, and I don't push water for Republicans. What
Right.
I push water for is people. That's what, like I keep telling people, show me in the Bible, the book that I read, where it says God wants you to be a Republican. God wants
Right.
you to be a Democrat. God wants you to be a libertarian. God wants you. Show me somewhere in there. But in that Bible, I can show you over and over and over where it tells us to take care of our people. It tells us to be about our people. Am I my
Right.
brother's keeper isn't in there just so you can say it so it sounds good.
Exactly. It's not a Hallmark card.
It, exactly. That's that's what I've been saying over and over and over. I will not run up under a Republican. I will not run up under a Democrat. What I want to do is for the people of Minnesota. And a girl asked me the other day. She says, and I on Monday I did when I did my podcast on Monday. I had to answer her because she asked me if only thing I'm going to do if I win, if I become lieutenant governor, is black people the only ones I'm going to help? Think about it for a second. Think about it. Right.
People have to think that way.
Right. That's what I said. I want you to think about it for a second.
Why would you say that? Why would that be the first thing that would come up in your mind? Be like, oh, okay, well, what are your plans to be a lieutenant governor? That might have started the conversation off a little better, you know, and go from there. I mean, if then all of a sudden you're talking all about black people and arguing about black people, then the question should be raised, not right off the bat. I mean, come
Right.
on. People are, oh, I'm done peopling.
Right. But yeah, that was the question that was answered. And like I said, one of the things that I don't do is I don't get on here and talk about going out to, Glencoe, Minnesota, and helping those white people out there, because you ever name a Republican lawmaker that you know of that talks about the poor white people.
Nobody.
Thank you very much. Because nobody talks about poor white people except for me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that you will hear speak on the poor white people, because when I talk to poor white people, that's what they sit there and go, nobody talks to us. Nobody asks us questions. Nobody wants to know what's going on with us. And just like they say, we get the crumbs that falls off the table. Don't you know we had and Alpha News reported this because they was kind of upset, but there were poor white people out of red districts coming into Minnesota, coming into Minneapolis, going to the food shelves, getting food from the food shelves. And then the food shelves was cutting them off, going, let's see a driver's license. You can't come from Elk River down to Minneapolis to the food shelves, and they cut them off. So Alpha News did this big whole story, but they didn't tell the truth. They put it as, oh, well, white people can't come into Minneapolis and get food. White people meant no. Those white people were coming from red districts into Minneapolis, poor white people into Minneapolis, going to the food shelves, and Minneapolis cut them off.
Yeah, that's legit. I mean, because
thank you very much. I said the same thing.
Yeah, because they allocate for the amount of people in their area, and when you have a bunch of other people coming from multiple areas, they're not going to have enough to go around.
That's
and
right.
I'm sure there has to be some type of food shelf up by Elk River. I don't know why they're going all. I'm darn. Check your churches, people. Check your local church. A lot of churches have food drives and food shelves. I mean, but yeah, it makes sense. Minneapolis has the right to cut them off. They're not doing it because they're just being rude and not want to feed the poor white people of Elk River. But that's because they're from Elk River,
They,
not because they're white. Come on. I don't know why people have to look for racism in everything. In everything. It
I said this. I've said the same thing, but that's when it's funny that when I do talk about poor white people. I mean, I've been to Inner Grove Heights. I've been to Woodbury, right? I've been to St. Louis Park. I've been to Burnsville, helping poor
mhm,
white people.
mhm,
Medina. I helped a family in Medina.
mhm.
This Christmas, we helped all those white people in Christmas. But the minute I start talking about poor white people, people get upset. First off, the white people get upset because I'm talking about poor white people, and then the black people get upset because I'm helping poor white people. I get it from both sides. I'm not kidding. I've been there. Why you
Oh,
helping the? Why you gotta go help the white people? I'm sitting there going, are you?
you're helping people. How
I'm
about
a
that?
reverend. What am I? I'm a. I'm sitting there going, are you? Are we serious? Are we that
Right.
stupid of a society that really? I mean, it's. Yeah.
I know, it's frustrating because it's like, when you talk about it, you're talking about poor people. That's all you're seeing is poor
Poor
people, whether
people.
black, white, yellow, red, purple, whatever, that you're looking them and because you're looking at through a moralistic and religious aspect of being a reverend. And you follow the teachings of Christ, and Jesus Christ would not turn somebody away because they were white, they were black, they were yellow, they were purple, they were orange. He treated everyone, it's just to love everyone the same. And that's why you have that mentality. And, that's why you're like, why does it have to be white, poor white people? And yeah, I can't imagine having that double-edged sword all the time. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
All the time. I mean,
All the
it
time.
literally it's so I have to develop a really thick skin when it comes to dealing with people, especially on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of times people sit there and go, "Well, these people are calling you names, Rev, and they're saying this to you and saying that to you. Why don't you block them?" I'm good. I don't need to block. Like I said, only time you're gonna get blocked on my page is if you're racist and if you get personal and start talking about my family and whatever. Because I've had people go off on me because my wife is white and Puerto Rican. My
Mhm.
kids are mixed. You know what I mean? My grandkids are mixed. We have a rainbow. And then I got my brother who is black and he's married to a Korean and he was married to a Mexican, so they got different type of kids. He got different. My family is a rainbow coalition.
Yeah, it is.
It is a rainbow like you would not believe. So
And it's awesome.
and it's awesome. It is because when we get together and we're all hanging out together, it's just it's awesome to be able to look across the table and see different people that we have that we're in love with, that we love. That's
Yeah.
an awesome feeling. That's an
Yes.
awesome feeling. And a lot of families don't get that feeling. They don't know what that feels like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And plus, we can't tell racist jokes at the dinner table. So there's that too.
You're all just going all through the stereotypes
We just
throughout
go
the
all
whole dinner. Oh, that's
Everybody
awesome,
gets some
though.
at our table.
Yeah, y'all get yep, you gotta get those jabs in,
Right,
Break your
right.
balls, I'm breaking your balls, that's all I'm doing, I'm breaking your balls.
But yeah, like I was saying before, one of the tough things that I have to do is crack that nut to find out how I can get people to see that there are no Democrats and there are no Republicans in Hennepin County. in order to start making a difference. I don't know if I need to beg some of the Republicans to come in and sit at some of these churches to talk to some of these people so they can see that, no, the Republicans are human. Even though they do some stupid things and they say stupid things, you got a Senator Eric Lazaro out of Elk River want to go after the Disney Corporation for their Snow White, but he uses the word woke. And what white people don't realize, the minute you say woke, that's a black term. You understand what I'm saying? So Eric Lazaro being a Republican and white and black people seeing him going and saying those things, well, he's racist.
Yeah.
I mean, he just put the nail in the coffin right there. The minute he decided to use the word woke, he's done. He's done. That Republican is done. So, see, Rev, we proved our point about the Republicans because of what he did. That one. I keep trying to get them to understand that they have to realize that just because he's in Elk River doesn't mean Elk River is the only place that that listens to him. Elk River is the only place that he represents. He's feeding his base.
Yep.
And that's what his base likes to hear. So now the base is racist.
Yep.
They don't understand that. They don't understand that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I'm to the point where I feel like everything, like we need to do like a complete reset. I think God needs to shake the Etch a Sketch of life and just like reset everything with her, because it just feels like it's so tarnished. How can we get it back? And it sucks because you can't legislate thought, you can't regulate thought, but you can regulate people's actions. So I mean, just maybe getting those Republicans out to your churches and getting them talking to the communities that they're going to represent and say, hey, it's just because what you see on Fox News doesn't mean that that's what we're about, especially as an individual candidate too. It's always nice to hear candidates say, hey, I'm not going to toe the party line. If I have something that I'm not going to agree with, I'm not going to do it. And that's very refreshing to hear because usually that's not how it works. Especially when lobbyists are filling those pockets of politicians at the millions of dollars. And I'm not talking thousands, millions of dollars. So, it's sad. And we need to start from the ground up, community level, city level, county levels, and just start working and brainstorm as a community and figure out how we can work as that community. How can we make that community better? Don't worry about Duluth. Don't worry about Rochester. Worry about Richfield, or worry about, South St. Paul or North Minneapolis. Just worry about your own little areas and how you guys locally can fix it on how it would, work within your own community as well. I mean, everybody's communities are different. So, we got to do something.
Got to do something.
It's going to be trial and error. Come on. Einstein, or not Einstein, but like Alexander Graham Bell or, Edison. He didn't make the bulb on the first shot. You know how many bulbs he probably went through before he finally got one to work?
True. True.
But if he would have given up, will we have our illumination we have today? I don't know. But
well, anyway, I kept you 18 minutes over. So I'll apologize for that. But I want to say this here real quick. That little that backdrop that Winnie has right there, I just want you to know she put that up there because of my backdrop.
No, it feels like I had, because I have this ugly sheet behind me, because when I do my podcast, I have a green screen with a background. And I'm like, well, what can I put up? Oh, yes. Reverend Tim loves the Green Bay Packers. Let me go find my Vikings blanket.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That now she
Feels
finally
old.
tells the truth, because before I said that, she didn't have to put that up there. The little thing, her backdrop before was just fine. But no, she could have went and got a black towel, a red towel, a blue towel, a pink towel, an orange towel. But no. Look at what she went and got. That was on
Well,
purpose, people.
Isn't that what the Democrats and Republicans do? That's what Vikings and Packers fans do. We just needle each other and poke the bear. And we'll hopefully have one. I don't know. There was talks we were going to get Aaron Rodgers. I was like, please, God, no. We can't do another Favre thing.
Oh man, I was hoping. My fingers was crossed. I was going, you have to do this. It's set up perfect. It was set up perfect. It was perfect for you guys to get Aaron Rodgers so I can make fun of you for the rest of the year.
Oh, I was praying to God, no, I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. I think he's the worst person on earth. I don't know why. I just can't stand the guy. Great quarterback, but he was not the nicest guy to work with. So, but thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, if you guys want to check out my podcast, it's Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot.com. It's a true crime podcast. And you can find me, just hit up my website. It's Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot.net.
What's your Twitter?
Honestly, I don't even know what my Twitter handle is.
Well, I have it. I'll put it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. I have it somewhere. I got it on. Wait a minute. I put you on my Get Up. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember. Well, I have different handles, but it's somewhere. You got it.
Hey, you tell that husband of yours I said hi.
Will do.
So if next time you get on, if he's around, he could jump in and say hello also. So
yeah, well, actually, maybe next week we might pop in because, like I said, we're going to be at the Palmer House Hotel this weekend in Sauk Center, Minnesota. My husband, if you guys don't know, he's Dave Schrader, originally from Darkness Radio. Now it's the Paranormal 60. So as you can tell in the title, paranormal. Yes, we are ghost hunting this weekend. We have an event called the Science Fair, as in psychic, and we have a couple mediums that are coming. And we're going to do some ghost hunts and just talk about ghost investigations and how hauntings happen and things like that. I know I'm kind of one of those people. Wear many hats, but yeah, I'm going to be doing tarot readings as well. So
I was about to say you're very busy. That's why when you hit me up and was saying, "Hey, can I come?" I was sitting there going, "I don't even know what you're asking for. You got the website." Right, so I don't even know what you even hit me up to ask for. All they have to do is yeah. I'm sitting there going, what is she asking me to come on for? She knows better than that.
I'm polite. I'm not going to just forward Ben. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And thank you for having me on. And I can't wait to come back on again and have some more good discussions like this one.
Yes, ma'am. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate you coming in and throwing your 2 cents in there. Like always, like I said, the numbers are good, and I thank the people who are hanging out with us here also and has been with us the whole time. Usually when they drop off by the time I get to this here point, but I'm sitting here going, like, 8 people just got back on this thing. We're about to hit 400 people on this thing real quick. But usually, they throughout my Get Up, they drop off. But as long as you are on, for some reason, they decide to stay, even though you got that ugly thing behind you. But we won't talk about that. I'm going to let you go.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you, Reverend Tim. And like I said, I can't wait to watch your campaign launch and get the trade rolling with it and see where it goes. And I'll be pushing for you.
I appreciate you. You are awesome to me. And we'll talk to you later. You have a good night, Winnie, and we'll see you soon. Like I said, anytime you want, you got it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now. Hey, fam, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us tonight. That was Winnie. She's on my Get Up Twitter. So if y'all not following her, I'll put it on there for her. If you guys not following her, Go ahead and follow her. She's a really good follow. She's a really, really, really good person. Her husband is Dave Schroeder, if you don't know who he is. He's on WCCO every once in a while. She's got a really good podcast that she does also. And I enjoy talking to her because it's awesome just for her and I just to go back and forth, to banter, talk about things and things of that sort. So, but, you know, according to Shelley in Crime Watch, I don't like people like that. You know, I don't like white people. But, you know, anyway, I'm never gonna let I'm never gonna let that be lived down. So, anyway, let's end the night like we always end the night, realizing and understanding and knowing that we serve an awesome God, a God that no matter what you've done, how you did it, and who you did it to, he's going to forgive you. We serve a God that will protect you through those enemies that you go through. He said, point blank, he'll put your enemy and make your enemy your footstool. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But we also serve a God that without his grace and his mercy that he gives each and every one of us, we will be in some serious trouble. No ifs, ands, or buts. We serve a God that have made an awesome promise that I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. Not too many people will say that to you. There's sometimes mom and dad will give up on you. But God will never give up on you. God will always be in your corner. He will always be that lily in the valley. He will always be that rod and that shield, that armor coat. That's the God that I know of. The one that no matter what you do, he can turn you around. He can make you brand new. He can wash you up when you get yourself dirty. Not the devil, but you get yourself in trouble. Correct? That God, a mighty God, a good God, an on-time God. So I'm going to leave you with this here tonight. I think everybody should thank him for giving you this one more day. Tomorrow, even though you think you're going into tomorrow, was not promised. But because we have a God with compassion, I'm sure he's going to see it, that we get another day with each other so we can learn and get closer to him, because that's what he wants. The closer to him you get, the better your life is going to get. I'm telling you something that I know for a fact, not that I'm guessing on. I know this for a fact. The closer you get to him, the better your life will become. And I'm going to tell you what will happen. You're going to get a smile on your face. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We go outside and we smile at somebody, so somebody smile back at you. Hey, fam, I thank you guys very, very much. Oh, one other thing before I leave you. I just put something on my my page. Y'all go take a look at. But there was a Mexican couple, and my wife and I, we ate at this truck a lot. And the Mexican couple was in Andover. You have to go to Andover, areas in Andover, to get their burritos, which are phenomenal. I'm not kidding you when I say this. So we would travel to Andover to get our Mexican food when we knew they was out there, and they're out there all the time. Well, some things went down in Andover with them to the point that they are leaving Andover because they're going to now because that's where they're welcome, because they're not welcome in the Coon Rapids Andover area. And one day I'm going to tell my story about racism in Coon Rapids, because there is. I'm a victim of racism with baseball. I'll tell you the story. One day I'm going to tell y'all the story. Why? The reason I do not coach baseball, I was coached baseball for 24 years. I coached Little League. I've coached traveling. I coached RBI. I've coached high school. I've coached traveling 15, 16, 17 year for 24 years. I was a baseball coach. I loved it. I coached both of my boys growing up. I coached other people's kids. And I had the opportunity to coach my grandkid until racism played its part. And that's the reason I do not coach I don't have the opportunity to coach again in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. That's a true story. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it. But I don't coach anymore because of racism in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. But this story is about Andover. Go on my page and take a look at that. That's sad that this has to happen in 2025. That we have people like this in the area of Andover and Coon Rapids, Minnesota. It's sad. But this is what we get. And at some point in time, it has to stop. No, seriously. It has to stop. Enough is enough, man. I think we've it's been 300 some odd years. When do we stop this? When is it over with? Like I said, y'all come to my table. Come sit at my table. Come sit around my table. Because my table has a rainbow of people who love each other. And I don't, for the life of me, don't understand why we all can't be like that. I'm no, seriously, for the life of me, I don't understand it. Why is it so important that because of the color of my skin, you have to hate me? It doesn't make sense. It really don't. Because like I always tell people, I don't want what you have. I don't want your thing. I don't want to take nothing from you. But I want the opportunity to get the same thing you have. I want a house. I want picket fence. I want a cat and a dog. I want 2 cars sitting in my driveway, a garage, a house. Nobody's trying to take anything from anybody. I love all my neighbors and anybody around, man. I get along with everybody. There's nobody I don't know. Well, I can't say that because I got a lot of people that don't like me right now. But we shouldn't be looking at each other and hating each other just because, I mean, look, find another reason. Rev, I don't like you because of your glasses. Okay. I guess I'll take it. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, man, I'm at a point to saying enough's enough, man. No, seriously, let's stop it. I mean, people hate this person because they're a Democrat, or this person hate this person because they're a Republican, and hate. It's just ugly. It's nasty. It's an ugly, ugly word. Hate and nigga is the 2 words that I hate. Hate, listen to what I just said. But it is. I hate. I hate when people hate people. And I hate when people say nigga. Because none of it makes sense to me. If you can make it make sense, then maybe I'll dig with you. I'll go along with you. But when it's all said and done, I want my grandkids to have a great life. I want your grandkids and kids to have a great life. Dude asked me, I went back and, hold on. I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to let you go. I'm serious. I'm 34 minutes over. I understand. I tell you what, Friday, I'm going to cut myself short. But I've been going back and forth with this knucklehead. No, I know people. I don't usually call people names, but this dude is off. Literally want to sit here and tell me that they're not trying to move words when it comes to pedophilia. When it comes to look, I don't play. The Bible says, this is not me. I'm just telling you what the Bible says, and I know what this means. That it's better for you to put a millstone around your neck and find a sea and drown yourself than you put your hands and do something to these kids. It's better. I'm saying a wood chipper. No, I'm being dead. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I have no remorse. I have no remorse for somebody that puts their hands on a kid. None. There's a video of a father waiting at y'all seen this. I'm sure a lot of y'all seen this. That father that waited at the phone booth when that molester came in, and the father. One thing that I always tell my boys would all be talking about, can we go sleep at somebody's house? And I have to go over there and check out the house, check out the parents and all that there. And my boys always, that's embarrassing, Father, Dad. I always tell my boys, no, I do that to keep Dad out of jail. Because if somebody puts their hands on you, I'm done. I'm done. I used to tell my boys that all the time. Help your dad stay out of jail. Because you put your hands, look, God gave me a gift. And God taught me, just like he taught every other man, how to take care of the things that he gave you. Right? Did that not? God give you a good woman. That good woman give you gifts. It's your job to take care of that woman and your kids. That's your job. God sets you up. Before God gave you a woman, before God gave Adam a woman, what did he do to Adam? He put Adam to work. He taught Adam how to be responsible. He taught Adam how to be responsible for things, for the plants, for the animals, for the air, for the sea, for the water. He taught Adam that. When he taught Adam, he was teaching you. So when he gave you your wife, your woman, your gift, who can give gifts, which are your kids, it's your job as a man. And if you let somebody, boy, there's no way in the world. And now I got grandkids. It's just like I tell my boys. If somebody put their hands on my grandkids, y'all don't have to worry about going to jail. Papa have no problem in doing that. I have no problem in doing that. That's why my granddaughter, that's why when I'm fighting to make sure that only women goes in the bathroom with her, y'all think I'm joking. I am not joking. I have when it comes to my family that I was put in charge of to take care of. I don't have no. That's why I said, like, when I go out with my grandson, my wife's, we go out for dinner or whatever. Oh, I'm on guard, man. I'm the whole time. The whole time I'm looking around. If I see a threat, I'm like that. That's how I work, man. I'm tuned in like that. And if you're not tuned in like that, if you're a man, a man, you know how they running around talking about there's no more masculine men and men that can't be masculine and all this shit. That's a lie. That's a lie. If you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do to take care of the gifts that God gave you, then that's your fault. That ain't a Democrat's fault. That's not a Republican fault. That's not nobody. That's your fault. Nobody can take out of you what God put into you, and that's what God put into you. I've been the same ever since. Like I said, you see me out with my grandson and my wife and my two grandsons, my granddaughter and my wife. You see me out with them. Oh, I'm like a lion, man. I'm like my wife would tell you. My wife, she be relax. No, not here. Not here, because on my watch, something gonna happen to you. Psst. Right. Ain't happening. So when we talk about masculine men, ain't nobody take that away from you. Can't nobody take away that you're not, when y'all is masculinity and masculinity is going down and all this, they can't take that away from you. Take care of your family. That's being masculine. When you're out with your wife, with your family, and I saw it a couple of days ago. I'm watching this little young man. He's walking down the street with his lady holding her hand. He's on the inside. Dude, come here. I said, no, seriously, I did. Come here. Moved him over to the outside. Put his girl up a wall. Dude, don't ever walk like that again. If I ever see you again and you walking with her on the outside, Rev's going to say something to you. That's being masculine. Saying, this is my girl right here. I'm taking care of her. So that's what I said. I'm not playing. Y'all, like I told you, I ain't playing that. They can, I don't give a damn what law they put in there. If we somewhere and some dude come walking out, my granddaughter go in the bathroom and I got to sit outside and wait, and some dude come out of that, or some dude try to go in the bathroom when my granddaughter is in there. I already showed my wife how to use this thing when she got to click on it and be like, so Rev went to the jail. Rev is down there in jail right now because he was protecting his granddaughter. So I'm going to ask y'all for a couple dollars to help me get him out. I ain't pushing for violence. No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Nobody's saying that. I'm protecting what's mine. And if these silly ass people here in Minnesota want to put me in that position, I'm not pushing violence. I'm not, don't do that to me. But if these silly ass people in Minnesota want to put me in that position by these stupid laws they trying to pass, don't blame me. Blame them. Why you gonna blame me? They did it. They did it. That's the reason why they're trying to tear down masculinity. Because those who think like I do, who will do anything to protect their family, they can knock us off. They can, oh no, I got every right to take care of my family. I got every right to protect my family. God, family, country, right? Isn't that what we say? Isn't that God, family, country? Anyway, fam, I'm way past time now. I got to knock off almost 45 minutes. So Friday, I'll only be on for 15 minutes. I'll give you guys your time back. But I thank you very much. I so appreciate you all for hanging out with me. And again, I want you to look at that story that I posted from Andover, the Mexican family who Andover, basically the racists in Andover, Coon Rapids, basically chased them out of doing business in that area. Just like I said, like they chased me out of coaching baseball in Coon Rapids also. So, but take a look at that. If y'all want to call Andover, call the whomever. I'm going to find out who the representative is in Andover, and I'm going to be making some phone calls myself because I don't think that's right in what they've done here. All right. Anyway, fam, y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Peace, fam. I'm out.